Success is the best revenge. When faced with challenges, criticism, or even outright enemies, the most effective way to silence the noise is to be so exceptionally good that no one can ignore you. This is not about proving a point to others, it's about pushing yourself beyond limitations and becoming undeniable in your field, your craft, and your personal growth. Think about it. Every great person in history, every trailblazer, every icon was once doubted, underestimated, or even ridiculed. But what set them apart? They didn't waste energy on arguments or petty conflicts. They focused on their work, their passion, their purpose. They kept going until even their harshest critics had no choice but to acknowledge their greatness. That's the real power move, becoming so good that your presence, your talent, and your achievements speak louder than any insult or opposition ever could. The first step to achieving this level of greatness is mastery. Whatever you do, commit to being exceptional at it. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, an athlete, or a student, you must strive for excellence. Mediocrity is forgettable, but mastery is impossible to ignore. The world respects those who are dedicated to their craft. And the moment you start operating at your highest potential, people will take notice, even those who once doubted you. But excellence isn't just about talent, it's about relentless effort. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You may not be the smartest, the most skilled, or the most experienced person in the room, but if you are the hardest worker, you will rise above the rest. Consistency, discipline, and a willingness to learn are the real ingredients to becoming extraordinary. The ones who make history are the ones who refuse to stop, no matter how many obstacles stand in their way. Another important aspect of being undeniably good is confidence. Not arrogance, but self-assurance, the unshakable belief that you belong in any room you walk into. Confidence comes from preparation, from knowing you've done the work. When you radiate self-assurance, people notice, they respect it, and even your critics deep down will recognize that they can't shake you. It's also crucial to remember that success isn't about proving people wrong, it's about proving yourself right. When you focus too much on what others think, you give them power over you. Instead, make your journey about growth, fulfillment, and purpose. When your motivation comes from within, nothing can stop you. You won't just be good, you'll be great. And greatness is impossible to ignore. But here's the catch: being great isn't just about skills or success. It's about character. Be someone people admire, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Kindness, integrity, and resilience are qualities that elevate you above the rest. When you combine excellence with authenticity, you don't just gain respect, you build a legacy. And finally, understand this: the world may resist you at first. People may doubt you, criticize you, or try to bring you down. But if you stay focused, keep pushing, and never lower your standards, the world will have no choice but to recognize your greatness. Because true excellence cannot be ignored. The moment you start reacting to every insult, every opinion, and every piece of negativity thrown your way, you hand over your power. The real game changer in life is learning how to stay unbothered and unapologetic. It's about refusing to shrink yourself for the comfort of others, refusing to seek approval from people who don't matter, and refusing to let negativity dictate your emotions or actions. People will always have opinions about you, your choices, your success, your failures. Some will admire you, some will envy you, and some will actively try to bring you down. That's just the way the world works. But the question is, will you let it affect you? Will you let their words and judgments shake your confidence? Or will you rise above it, knowing that their opinions don't define your worth? The most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who argue back or constantly explain themselves. They're the ones who move forward, unfazed, unaffected, and unbothered. Staying unbothered doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you choose what's worth your energy. Not everything requires a reaction. When you stop giving attention to negativity, it loses its power over you. People who seek to bring you down thrive on your response. The moment you stop engaging, you take away the satisfaction they seek. You rob them of their control over you. That's why silence is often the loudest response. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them misunderstand. Your job is not to prove, explain, or defend yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your job is to keep moving forward, focused on your path. Being unapologetic is another level of power. It's about standing firm in who you are, what you believe in, and what you want. Too often, people shrink themselves to fit into other people's expectations. They apologize for their ambition, for their confidence, for taking up space. But why? Why should you apologize for wanting more, for believing in yourself, for dreaming big? Being unapologetic means refusing to dim your light just because it makes others uncomfortable. It means owning your success, your uniqueness, your voice without guilt. Of course, being unapologetic doesn't mean being rude or dismissive of others. It's not about arrogance, it's about authenticity. It's about refusing to pretend to be someone you're not just to be liked. The right people will respect you for standing your ground, and the wrong ones, they were never meant to be part of your journey anyway. One of the biggest keys to being unbothered and unapologetic is self-assurance. When you truly know yourself, your worth, your values, your strengths, you stop seeking validation from external sources. You stop relying on approval to feel good about yourself. And when you no longer need that validation, people lose the ability to control you with their opinions. You become untouchable not because you're ignoring reality, but because you've built such a strong foundation of self-belief that no amount of negativity can shake it. At the end of the day, the world will try to test you. It will try to make you doubt yourself, second-guess your choices, and question your worth. But you have a choice. You can spend your life reacting, explaining, proving, or you can rise above, stay unbothered, and live unapologetically. And trust me, nothing frustrates your critics more than realizing they can't affect you. Nothing is more powerful than a person who knows exactly who they are and refuses to be anything less. One of the most powerful ways to handle negativity, criticism, or even enemies is to kill them with kindness, but only if you truly mean it. This isn't about fake smiles or forced politeness. It's about mastering the art of grace, rising above negativity, and choosing to lead with strength rather than react with hostility. It's about understanding that kindness is not weakness. It's a strategic and powerful move that can completely disarm the people who wish to see you fail. When someone tries to bring you down, they expect a reaction. They expect anger, retaliation, or a defensive response. But when you meet their hostility with kindness, it throws them off balance. They don't know how to handle it because they were expecting a fight, not a lesson in grace. Genuine kindness has a way of shifting the energy in any situation. It forces people to reconsider their negativity because you're not giving the reaction they wanted. But here's the key: your kindness has to be real. If it's forced or fake, people can sense it and it loses its power. Real kindness comes from self-assurance. It comes from knowing that no one else's words or actions can take away your worth, your success, or your peace. When you're truly confident in yourself, you don't feel the need to fight every battle. You don't feel the need to prove a point. Instead, you lead with kindness because you understand that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on negativity. This approach isn't just about confusing your enemies, it's about protecting your own peace. Holding on to anger, resentment, or the desire for revenge only drains you. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of negativity. But when you choose kindness, you free yourself from that burden. You take control of your emotions instead of letting others dictate how you feel. And in doing so, you gain the upper hand, not by overpowering others, but by refusing to be affected by them. There's also something deeply transformative about kindness. It has the power to change people. Sometimes the people who are the most negative, bitter, or hurtful are the ones who need kindness the most. That doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It simply means you recognize that people's actions are often a reflection of their own struggles, insecurities, or pain. And when you meet that negativity with kindness instead of more negativity, you create an opportunity for change, whether in them or in yourself. Of course, kindness doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It doesn't mean you allow toxic people to stay in your life. True kindness includes setting boundaries. You can be kind while still walking away from situations or people that don't serve you. You can be kind while still demanding respect. The key is to never let someone else's negativity turn you into someone you're not. In the end, the greatest way to win against negativity is not by fighting, but by rising above it. Kill them with kindness, but make sure that kindness comes from a place of strength, not fear. Be kind, but don't be weak. Be graceful, but don't be a doormat. And most importantly, be so solid in who you are that no amount of negativity can shake you. Because at the end of the day, kindness is not just an act, it's a power move. And when you master it, you become truly unstoppable. Pain is inevitable. At some point in life, we all experience disappointment, heartbreak, failure, or betrayal. But what truly defines us is not the pain itself, it's what we do with it. Some people let pain break them, while others use it as fuel to rise higher than ever before. That is the real power move, turning pain into power. When life throws challenges your way, you have two choices. You can let those experiences consume you, making you bitter, resentful, or afraid to try again. Or you can choose to transform that pain into strength, using it as motivation to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The most successful and inspiring people in the world didn't get there because life was easy for them. They got there because they refused to let pain define them. Instead, they let it refine them. One of the most important steps in turning pain into power is acknowledging it. Many people try to suppress their pain, pretending it doesn't exist or distracting themselves with temporary fixes. But ignoring pain doesn't make it go away, it only buries it deeper. True strength comes from facing your struggles head on, allowing yourself to feel them, and then deciding that they will not control you. The moment you stop running from pain and start confronting it, you take back your power. Next, you have to reframe your pain. Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, see them as opportunities to grow. Every difficulty you face is a lesson, a stepping stone to something greater. If you've been betrayed, you've learned the value of trust. If you've failed, you've discovered what doesn't work, and that knowledge will guide you towards success. If you've been underestimated, use it as motivation to prove not just to others, but to yourself what you're truly capable of. Pain is often the universe's way of pushing us towards something better, something we wouldn't have reached if everything had been easy. Another way to transform pain into power is to use it as fuel. Pain, when directed properly, is one of the greatest sources of motivation. Think about the most driven people you know, the ones who push boundaries, who achieve the impossible. More often than not, they're fueled by something deeper than just ambition. Maybe they've been doubted their whole lives. Maybe they've faced loss, rejection, or struggle, but instead of letting that pain weaken them, they let it drive them. They turn every no into fuel for a stronger comeback. They turn every failure into a foundation for something greater. It's also important to remember that turning pain into power isn't just about achieving success, it's about transformation. Pain has the ability to shape us, to make us more compassionate, more understanding, and more appreciative of life. The people who have been through the toughest battles are often the ones with the deepest wisdom and the strongest hearts. When you survive something difficult, you gain a level of strength that can never be taken away from you. And that strength allows you to uplift others, to inspire, and to create change. But perhaps the most powerful way to turn pain into power is to let it make you fearless. Once you've been through the worst, you realize that nothing can truly break you. You become unstoppable because you've already survived what was meant to destroy you. You stop fearing failure because you know that even if you fall, you have the strength to rise again. You stop fearing judgment because you've learned that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. At the end of the day, pain is not the enemy. It's a teacher, a guide, a catalyst for growth. The choice is yours. Will you let it define you, or will you use it to become the strongest version of yourself? If you choose power over pain, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. In a world where so many people are caught up in proving themselves, winning arguments, and seeking revenge, the real power lies in taking a different path, building a legacy, not a war. Too often, people waste their energy trying to fight battles that don't matter, engaging in petty conflicts, and trying to prove a point to those who will never truly support them. But the ones who make history, the ones who are truly remembered, are those who rise above all of that. Instead of focusing on destruction, they focus on creation. Instead of fighting battles, they build empires. When you spend your life chasing conflicts, you limit yourself, you stay stuck in a cycle of negativity, always looking over your shoulder, always trying to prove something to someone. But when you shift your focus to something greater, your dreams, your vision, your purpose, you suddenly step into a different kind of power. You stop reacting to negativity, and instead you start shaping your own future. That's how legacies are built, not by tearing others down, but by lifting yourself up in a way that inspires others to do the same. A legacy is something that lasts beyond you. It's not just about success in the moment, it's about creating something meaningful that continues to exist long after you're gone. This could be through your career, your impact on people, your art, your ideas, or the way you inspire others. When you focus on legacy, you stop engaging in meaningless battles because you realize that your energy is better spent on things that truly matter. One of the biggest differences between building a legacy and fighting a war is intention. A war is about winning against others, but a legacy is about winning for yourself and for future generations. It's about leaving something behind that makes the world better, something that carries your name forward with pride. Look at the great leaders, innovators, and game changers in history. They weren't focused on petty fights or seeking revenge. They were focused on creating something that mattered. And because of that, their names still live on today. Building a legacy also requires long-term thinking. Many people get so caught up in short-term victories that they forget to think about the bigger picture. Winning a fight today might feel good, but what does it really do for you in the long run? Instead of spending time proving yourself to people who don't matter, use that time to grow, to create, and to build something that does. Every decision you make should be guided by one question: will this help me build the future I want? If the answer is no, walk away. Another important part of building a legacy is lifting others up instead of tearing them down. Real power isn't about making others feel small, it's about inspiring them to grow alongside you. When you choose to encourage, mentor, and uplift people, you create a ripple effect of impact that lasts far beyond your own life. True leaders don't just build success for themselves, they create opportunities for others to rise as well. Most importantly, building a legacy means knowing when to walk away from battles that don't serve you. Not every fight is worth your time. Not every opinion deserves your attention. When you're focused on something greater, you don't have time to engage in negativity. Your energy is precious, spend it wisely. At the end of the day, the choice is simple. You can either waste your time fighting meaningless battles, or you can dedicate yourself to something bigger than yourself. When you choose the path of legacy, you don't just win, you change the game entirely. And that is the kind of power that lasts forever. Walking away is often seen as a sign of weakness, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful moves you can make. Knowing when to step back, let go, and move forward takes more strength than staying in situations that drain your energy, waste your time, or compromise your peace. Walking away like a boss isn't about running from challenges, it's about recognizing your worth, protecting your energy, and choosing to invest in what truly matters. It's about understanding that not every battle is worth fighting, not every situation deserves your time, and not every person is meant to stay in your life. One of the most important lessons in life is learning when to walk away from negativity. Whether it's toxic relationships, draining friendships, or unnecessary conflicts, knowing when to remove yourself is a skill that will serve you for life. Too often, people stay in situations that bring them down simply because they don't want to seem like they're giving up. But walking away isn't giving up, it's setting a standard. It's saying, I refuse to let this situation define me or hold me back. And when you make that decision with confidence, you don't just leave, you elevate. Walking away like a boss also means choosing peace over proving a point. There will always be people who try to drag you into drama, arguments, or conflicts that don't serve you. The real power move, not engaging, silence is sometimes the loudest response. When you refuse to waste your energy on negativity, you're telling the world that you have bigger things to focus on. You're proving that your time, your energy, and your mind are too valuable to be spent on things that don't contribute to your growth. Another key part of walking away like a boss is letting go of the need for validation. Many people stay in bad situations because they want approval. They want to prove something to others. But real confidence comes from within. When you know your worth, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to beg for respect, force people to understand you, or fight for a place where you're not valued. You simply walk away knowing that your value doesn't decrease just because someone else fails to see it. Walking away isn't just about people, it's also about letting go of things that no longer serve you. This could be a job that drains your soul, a dream that no longer excites you, or a mindset that keeps you stuck. Growth requires movement, and sometimes that means leaving behind what's familiar. It takes courage to walk away from something you've invested time in, but staying stuck is always the bigger risk. Walking away means making space for something better, for something that aligns with who you are becoming. Perhaps the most powerful thing about walking away like a boss is that it puts you back in control. When you leave a situation by choice, you reclaim your power. You are no longer a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of your future. Instead of reacting to negativity, you take charge of your life. Instead of staying stuck, you step forward. And that's what true confidence looks like, not needing to fight every battle, not needing to beg for respect, but knowing that you are strong enough to walk away and still win. At the end of the day, walking away isn't about losing, it's about choosing yourself. It's about refusing to settle, refusing to engage in things that don't serve you, and refusing to let anything or anyone hold you back. When you walk away like a boss, you don't just leave, you level up. You move forward with grace, strength, and the confidence that something greater is waiting for you. And that right there is what true power looks like.